Welcome inside our New York City studio. I'm Ariel Helwani, being joined this morning by UFC middleweight contender Luke Rockhold, who faces Lyoto Machida April 18th, right across the river from here in Newark, New Jersey. It is UFC on Fox 15, and Luke, it is such a pleasure to have you here. We don't get big-name stars like you in the studio all the time, especially ones from California, looking as tanned as you are. Welcome to frigid New York.
Sorry about that, it's been nice on the other side of the country.
Yes.
It's been a little bit 75 degrees, beach weather all day, just getting ready for Jersey.
You're doing some promoting, and to be quite honest, I was told Lyoto would be here as well, but he didn't come on this trip. Also from California, are you a little annoyed that he's not here?
Slightly, yeah, definitely. I got sick, coming out here. And I still manned up, jumped on the plane and did my job. Lyoto got the sniffles and decided to stay in bed. So, I think I should get his per diem money, but we're working issues out. I'm going to call Uncle Dana and see what's up.
Okay. Now I want there's a lot to talk to you about. There's a lot going on in your world, in the world of MMA. Let's come out with the hot stuff first, the most important stuff. How in the world did you let that lady speak to you like that on Millionaire Matchmaker? I mean, the way she dressed you down, the way she made you seem like an 8-year-old boy visiting the principal's office was, to be quite honest, I was embarrassed for you. How did you let her do that to you? Who was that lady? The chutzpah.
Well, the lady kind of stole my heart a little bit. She said my ball sweat smelled like flowers. So I mean, we were already started off on a good foot. Editing changes things. It's not exactly what it appeared to be. To tell you the truth, she actually, we hugged and I left. Okay. I didn't get kicked off the show. Just to state that.
Yeah.
Right? So basically, I think the show was a success. I took her bartender.
Right.
I stole her bartender. I kissed her co-host. She said my ball sweat smelled like flowers.
Right.
And the gay co-host said he wanted to have a threesome with me.
I missed that part.
Yeah, the part that they say face and edited it out,
sure,
that's to save their own face. So, the parts you don't see. You don't see the fact they aired out that I kissed her other co-host, and then that other,
I just watched it yesterday. I wanted to know what the hell you got yourself into. And I'm wondering, was that actually real? Was all that real? You picking the mixologist over the other girls? You telling the girl about what you want in life and all that? Or was that Pro Wrestling 101? Was that all scripted?
Well, some is real, some is not. Reality TV, they encourage you. I'm not going to say there's lines, but they encourage you to say certain things and do certain things, and they set up dates and whatnot. So, me picking the bartender was pretty authentic. They gave me 3 girls that were pretty rubbish. I wasn't really happy with.
So not your style?
Not really my style. And I had a friend with me that was kind of scouting out the scenario in the club at the time before I met the girls. And one girl, he said that there's one girl, I'm not sure if she's part of it. I was like, well, who is she? Like, who is this girl? And so then we figured out she was the bartender, and I kind of pulled Patty aside, and I'm like, I saw her walk by. I'm like, "What's up with your bartender? I heard she, can we get her in the mix?" And then she said, "If you go out and ask her on a date, like you saw, then if she agrees, then you can potentially have her." So I pulled the bartender aside and handled my business.
But you only saw her once. It said at the end of the show. Have you ever seen her again?
No, I cut her off.
Why?
Yeah, I didn't want to lead her on. I knew she wasn't for me, so I decided to go my own way.
Why wasn't she for you?
She just wasn't my particular type, really.
Why not? I want to know. I want to understand
you
why.
Act a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
You weren't feeling it.
I wasn't feeling it.
At what point did you realize you weren't feeling it?
Just little parts. Through the way I actually had just signed my Bisping fight, and it was kind of my last hurrah weekend, and I wanted to have a good time.
Sure.
I wanted to go out and find something even a little better for myself and have some fun with the boys. So I ended up leaving her high and dry, and then
look at you.
And when it ran out to Newport and hung out with my friends and met some cute girls out there. So we had a good time there. I just didn't want to lead her on. I'm not that guy. I'm not a mean guy. I'm not going to lead her on when something's not really there.
You are a wild man. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So you're not really looking for love, right? That was all BS. You're not looking for a wife or a love.
I always keep an open mind.
Yeah, but it's clear. You meet someone, you cut her off within hours. It's clear that
if she's right. If she's right for me,
you could tell. You could tell right away.
Yeah.
You regret doing the show?
No.
It caused a lot. Why even do this to begin with? It seemed like it caused a lot of drama in your life for a brief moment.
Yeah, but it makes it interesting too at the same time.
What's the aftermath? Do you get people who see you as kind of like the bad boy and they're sending you messages now? I feel like your DM, your direct messages must be an unbelievable scene over there, right? I mean, the stuff that you must get.
If you only knew, Ariel.
If I only knew. Can you give us a taste?
Well, let's just say a lot of people message me that they say one or two things, or they're like, girls like a bad boy, right?
Sure. You know, are you a bad boy?
I'm not that bad. You know, I'm just who I am. And, you know, reality TV doesn't always portray people the way they should be portrayed. But it doesn't hurt me. It hasn't hurt. It re-airs like every other day.
Yeah.
Too. And so there's like 100 re-airs or something like that. So I get a whole new crop of girls private messaging me and some love on all my social media. And then every once in a while I get some haters too. But I think the majority of it is positive. And a lot of girls, let's just say they don't say they spit.
You know, I must say, and did that part actually air? Did she bring that up? Because I didn't see that part. I was fast forward because there was this other lady in the show that I really didn't care about. I mean, there's a lot of plastic surgery involved there. It was that was just a whole other mess. So I kept fast forwarding. I think I missed a few parts. I did see when your mic fell.
Yeah.
And then you touched the other girl. I felt a little uncomfortable there. That I didn't. Were you acting there, or was that like? Is that really how you interact with females? Because it felt a little weird to me.
Well, they chopped that up pretty hard at the end.
They did?
Okay.
That seems like a cop-out statement, though.
Even with the spit or swallow comment, okay, that was a joke backstage. That was mic'd up.
Okay.
And they wanted me to go out on the bow of the boat and do like a Titanic scene. I'm like, really? You want me to do a Titanic scene? I'm like, come on, it's not really my style. I don't want to do it. And they're like, come on, please, and beg me. I'm like, you want me to teach her how to spit like a man too? And so we joked about that. That led to the spit or swallow comment.
Gotcha.
And joking, I'm just kidding, immediately following. But that was mic'd in the back. So they took my voice and dubbed it over the last scene on when I actually agreed to do their bow of the boat Titanic scene. And then so at the end on the follow-up, when we're sitting down, my mic falls off. I pull up my shirt. Her co-host leans over and like, you know, starts looking at me. And I'm like, oh, stop. And I touch her back.
Okay.
They fail to show all that. They can cut things and show what they want. So I touch her back and say stop. And then they start arguing back and forth about us kissing backstage prior, you know, a couple days prior in a different scene. And then she calls over the other co-host, the guy, and he starts throwing her under the bus, you know. She's like, so what exactly happened? Was it a kiss? And I was like, it was like a handshake. And the other guy's like, oh, they were like fully making out. They were doing it, you know, and like and then so one co-host is battling back and forth about what exactly happened. And they're going back and forth, and he keeps throwing her under the bus, saying that we were making out backstage. And then she turns back to him and says, you said you want to have a threesome with him. And I'm just sitting here just crying,
this is a
laughing.
Mess.
And they're just all arguing in this little triangle. And I'm just sitting here on the outside just like, is this happening right now?
Wow.
And so eventually I butt in. I'm like, are we going to call Kara or what? And so I ended up calling her and faking a makeup, you know, setting up a second date. And anyway, we all made up, we hugged, we left, I walked out.
Okay. I have one more question about this show, because I feel like a lot of people who watch MMA fighting videos probably either don't care about Millionaire Matchmaker or your love life, but I do care about these things.
Seems to be the topic of conversation.
Yes,
here in New
I'm
York.
sure. Here in New York, they're probably asking you about it all the time, right?
Yeah.
That boat, was that legit? I mean, do you really own a boat? Because, I mean, it was pretty impressive. Okay, because you did mention it was your boat on the show.
Yeah, my boat.
Yeah?
My boat.
That's your boat. That's nice.
I have my jet skis, my boat.
I didn't realize you were living like that.
Well, living big.
Yeah, cool. Well, look at this. Luke Rockhold, you learned something new. Okay, let's talk about serious stuff.
Yeah.
On Wednesday in Las Vegas, you were here, but I'm sure you've heard, big press conference, right? UFC outlining its plans to finally clean up the sport. You've been one of those guys who has been very outspoken about PD abuse in MMA.
Yes.
Some might say you were affected by this, right? In your career. What'd you make of what they said?
I didn't get to catch all of it. I've been on such a whirlwind out here, but from what I understand, from what the guys tell me, everything's moving in the right direction, and that's what I've been pushing for, and that's what I want, of course. I think random testing is very necessary. These guys are getting caught. Finally, we're doing blood testing, which is something that's been a long time coming, and now we're doing pre-fight testing, and so guys are getting caught pre-fight. You know, and they knew how to pass a piss test, or they had cheated it somehow, and now blood tests are even catching them, you know, even more so. And then you have the pre-fight testing, which is getting guys so they can't cycle off, leading up to the fight. So it's all means to a cleaner sport, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to be tested at any time. I'm ready to go right now. So
in your career, in your pro MMA career, how many times have you been tested out of competition randomly before a fight, not on fight night?
Never.
That's amazing, right?
Yeah.
That's disappointing in a sense.
Yeah.
Now you see just a few of them popping up, and how many guys are getting caught.
I've never been blood tested.
Period. Wow.
I mean, besides obviously.
Yeah, for your own personal stuff.
Yeah.
But never related to a fight. Do you feel like what they're saying? They're saying, come July 1st, all fighters will be subjected to random out of competition testing. All main event fighters, as well as all championship fighters. Even if you're the co-main event, you're fighting for the belt. You'll be subjected. They're also saying 2 to 4 year ban for a first offense. You're down with that?
100%. Guys need to feel it. These guys, the penalties aren't strict enough. People are taking them, and they're coming back, and they're not losing their position.
Sure.
In the lineup. So, I mean, for them, I guess it's making sense. I said that minimum 2 years. I came out with that statement a couple weeks ago. So,
right.
Make these guys feel it. This is a real deal. We're not playing ball sports here. This is coming in with a deadly weapon and fighting. We're taking guys to the brink of death, and guys to be genetically enhanced. It's a joke.
In your opinion, how prevalent is PED usage in our sport right now?
I'm not one to put numbers on PED usage in the sport, but I think the higher up you go in competition, the higher the levels go in usage. It runs rampant in certain camps, in certain states, in parts of the country. It's pretty obvious if you just start tracking who's getting caught and where they're coming from and what camps they're coming from. It's pretty obvious.
But in your case, you say you've never taken. We believe you. Has anyone ever come up to you and said you can go to the next level after the Vitor fight? Has anyone ever come up to you ever in your career and said, I have the right cocktail to make you into that superstar championship fighter? Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever had that conversation?
I've been so outspoken against it. I think people are scared to really come to me and even offer something like that. I had a 19th month layoff back when I hurt my shoulder. I had an AC separation. I re-injured it, and I'm not gonna lie. There was a couple people that came up to me, and I was just on the sidelines so long that they're like, "You should just do it to heal," and I couldn't even fathom taking something just to help myself heal. It's just not me. It's not in my genetics. It's not who I am, and I would never even take something just to heal myself. Really, it's not me.
I reached out to Nick Lembo, who is the head counsel for the New Jersey Athletic Commission, which is obviously where you'll be fighting on April 18th, and asked him if there'll be any random drug testing for that fight.
I was just going to reach out.
He says they typically don't speak about these things in public. Typically that commission has been a very good commission.
That's what I understand. That's what I was pretty excited to come out here for.
But they wouldn't disclose whether or not, I don't know if you heard Patrick Cummins came out and said that he would like his fight against OSP to be, them be randomly drug tested. But, you mentioned camps. Anderson Silva comes from the same camp as your opponent, Lyoto Machida, and that camp has been,
had problems. I just talked about that too.
Yeah, so are you concerned at all?
I'd just like testing. Yeah, of course. Like I said, it runs in camps. I'm not saying Lyoto. I think Lyoto is a very true martial artist. He lives by the code, and I'd like to think he's clean. But at the same time, I think we should jump on it, and we should be at the forefront of this testing and prove ourselves. Everyone's guilty until proven innocent. I mean, there's so many guys that have been in my position and speaking exactly what I'm speaking, and saying what I'm saying, and they're portraying like they're a clean fighter when they're really not. All I can do to prove myself innocent is to get tested. Test me, please. Test Lyoto. Test us now. I'm ready. Let's go. Random, whenever you want. I wanted to get tested on this trip, this PR trip. I was kind of reaching out. Lyoto
that hasn't happened.
That hasn't happened. No.
You wanted this fight. You asked for it right after his win over CB Dalloway. Why'd you want it?
It's an exciting fight. I know the fans like it already. I think it's a perfect time. I know they wanted it before.
Yeah. Dana White, in particular, really wants this fight.
He wanted it before my last fight with Bisping, and I knew that was my only time to fight Bisping. Mm-hmm. I wanted to shut his mouth. I wanted to go in there and just clean up our past and beat him and just shut his mouth and do exactly what I did. I knew I wouldn't have another chance. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to beat Lyoto. I'm going to get the title. I'm going to go on. I don't believe Bisping would ever come back. So I wanted my opportunity to shut his mouth. I got that, and now I'm ready to go out there and shut down Lyoto.
Dana tell you why he wanted this fight for you? Because, one can make the case the Jacare fight, the rematch makes a lot of sense right now. Why Machida, who just fought for the belt?
I don't know. I like the matchup. I think it's exciting for the fans. I think it's a great stylistic matchup. Dana is a fan of the sport too. Mm-hmm. So I think him looking at it from that fan perspective, I think he wants to give the fans what they want. So I mean that's my take on it, I'd say. Jacare fight would make sense considering where they rank him and considering I beat him, and not like I got a lucky punch on him. I beat him in 5 rounds, and I'm coming off a long layoff. So I believe I've bettered myself, and I'm not happy with the situation of him getting ranked. I don't know who ranks these guys.
He's ranked above you in the UFC rankings?
Yeah.
Wow.
So. And so
how much does that piss you off?
It's annoying. I'm not gonna lie, but
what do you rank right now? I'll be honest with you. I don't look at them that often because I don't believe I don't take part in them.
Yeah.
Why do you laugh?
Because I just know you, Ariel.
What do you mean? You think I do? You think I'm lying?
Number 5.
Number 5.
Yes.
And what is he?
I think he's like number 1.
He's number 1, Jacare?
I don't know. I'm not completely positive. 1 or 2 maybe.
I don't know about that. I mean, obviously Weidman isn't ranked because he's the champion. Mm-hmm. Vitor's not ranked above him?
I don't even think Vitor's ranked above him.
Wow. That is bizarre.
It's pretty crazy. I don't know what they see.
Yeah. Okay, so you recently, like I said, Dana White liked this fight. I know you spoke to him. You recently signed a new deal with UFC.
Yes.
What was that process like?
It was a little longer process than you think.
Why?
Nothing. Just trying to get everything right. It's a crucial time in my career, no doubt. This is signing an 8-fight contract through some of the best years of my career and on the verge of getting a title shot. I just got to make sure I have everything in line. I'm looking out for myself. This is my retirement years, and I want to make sure I'm getting compensated and taken care of.
Are you happy with the deal?
My stock's going to grow very fast.
So why 8 fights? Why such a long period?
I'm not. Don't ask me. They like to lock you in, but at the same time, I think we can find means to renegotiate in between it. So.
But you just signed a deal.
Yeah, in between though. I mean, it's 8 fights is just like, I don't know. It's a security blanket for them.
Sure.
And I think proving myself through this, I think there's definitely a good opportunity to re-sign, partially way through. So
right now, though, you're happy.
No, I'm not too worried. Happy, more than happy right now. It's a great situation to be in. It was a good deal. Happy sat down with Dana and shook hands, and it's good. I'm stoked.
How old are you right now?
30 years old.
30 years old. So you're saying this could be like the retirement years. Of course, you're not in that period right now.
No, but I think the next 5-6 years are going to be the best years of my career.
Sure.
And I plan on being champion for all of those.
Do you have an idea when you'd like to stop fighting? Are you one of those guys who puts a cap on your career?
I don't want to be a guy that goes into his 40s and starts declining, but I'm just going to play it by ear. I think I'm coming into my athletic prime and my technical prime. I haven't even reached it yet, either one of those. So I'm just going to take care of my body the best I can, and I fight. I fight the way I do. I don't fight, getting brawls. I try to be technical. I try to be flawless, and then there's longevity in that. And so I'm not one of those guys that's going to get in these, these Junior Dos Santos, Cain Velasquez brawls. Mm-hmm. I can if I need to, and I have that in me. I know I have that in me, but that's not my goal. My goal is to go out there and be flawless every time, and I've done pretty well in 2014, and I'm going to try to do the same here with Lyoto, just be perfect.
What do you say to those people who say that at your gym, aka in San Jose, they push you a little too hard? You guys go too hard. You're prone to injury. Look at what happened to Cain. What do you say to those people? Because that has been said. Is that accurate?
People. I mean, everyone is their own person. We don't push anybody. We don't force anybody to do anything. We have our recipe that's worked. That's built our gym into one of the best gyms, if not the best gym in the world. So within that, everybody is able and capable of doing their own thing inside those realms. They don't have to spar 3 days hard a week. They can take a light day. They can take a day off. We're open-minded gym, and and we allow people to stray off and have, somewhat formulate their own game plan. I've always been that guy to kind of structure my own camps and my own game plans, my own strategies going into fights, and I just bounce that off my coaches and kind of work with them, and we strategize together. And so I think it's crucial to fighting at that next level is getting in there and having that hard sparring, that world-class sparring, and getting those butterflies off and being able to relax. So when you get to that actual fight, it's just doesn't affect you as much as other people that don't really have any hard sparring. They go in there and they get nervous because they don't know what they're in for. We do this stuff every day.
When I first went to AK, it was 2008, so around 7 years ago. Back then it was the John Fitch, Mike Swick, Josh Koscheck gym.
Yeah, it was a welterweight era,
right?
Which we don't even have any welterweights anymore.
Times have changed. Is it funny too to look back at that time? Like, did you think that it would evolve into what it is today? Now it's the big boys, right? It's DC, Kane, you guys are kind of the three most recognizable faces associated with the gym. Did you think it would happen? Those guys aren't even around anymore.
No, everyone's kind of split off and done their own thing. I believed in myself from the beginning. I knew Kane would do his thing, and once DC joined the team too, it was pretty obvious that he was going to do great things. So I knew the sky was the limit for all of us, especially sticking together. I think we complement each other all very nicely in our styles, and we can all push each other, and I'm somewhat big enough to work with both of them, and using them for the wrestling and everything else they have too, and I can give them a striking perspective in jiu-jitsu, and I can compete a little bit in the wrestling. I'm not too bad.
Oh, were you surprised?
Oh,
Sorry.
Really?
No, I thought... Were you surprised to hear that John Fitch had tested positive?
Yeah, I mean, he left our team, and he went to Vegas, and hanging around certain people, you wonder, and then like the vegetarian diet, like all of a sudden, and then he came back and trained with us a little bit, and he got pretty big. So it was like, I'm back on protein again. I mean meat again. I'm like, really? I'm big. But yeah.
You had your doubts?
Yeah, I had my doubts, and like I've said before, some guys lose and they have families to support, and I think they turn to it as a last minute decision, something that's gonna preserve their career, maybe help their family and pay for them. So those guys, you kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel for. I understand why they go down that road, maybe, but at the same time, it's like, God, I'm sick of cheaters and what's what. I like John, and I understand he's got a growing family and he's got to support them. He wants to prolong his career and take care of his family. So it's you feel for the guys in those positions, and you understand why they might do something like that. But it's just, that's why I don't have a family. That's why I don't have things to fall back on. I focus solely on what I'm doing right now, and I don't want anything over my head, anything to prevent me from achieving my goals and my passion and what I'm here for.
Just before I came here today, I watched our very first interview, August of 2009. You had just defeated Corey Davella. You're a very different person today than you were back then. I went to AKA. I was
not
there
too different though, right?
Not too different, but you have a lot more confidence now. You project this confidence. You may have been sure of yourself. You say you knew you were going to be great, but it didn't really, like I was saying to you, oh, you ready for main card? We were talking Strikeforce main card, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that quite yet, which is pretty amazing to hear. Right. We were talking about Jacare and Jake Shields, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for those guys quite yet. Did you really deep down always think that you would turn into this, or did you ever have doubts early on? Because you were in the gym there with some UFC contenders, some potentially future Hall of Famers. Did you always think though, because you really you grew up in front of our eyes, you came up, on these Strikeforce undercards, no one really knew what you would turn into, and then it was very clear at one point you turned a corner. But back then in those early days, what did you think about your career?
I could say the same for you, Ariel.
You thought the same, you remember thinking about it.
You were growing at that time, didn't really turn the corner.
Perhaps we grew together.
Now look at you here,
look at us
doing big things.
Yeah. All these people work for me. There's actually no one here in back of us, but
you got like 20 people in here, all just as backing.
So what did you think?
I believed in myself. I knew I was growing. I knew I was bettering myself. I potentially think I could have beat those guys, but I knew I was getting so much better. And that's the reason why I kind of took a lot of time off in between fights at that time, because I wasn't really in a rush. You know, I was improving so much, and why jump to that next level when I could be that much better, you know, for a little time off, and I come back even better and better. And now that I'm nearing my peak, I know I'm good enough that I want to get back in the gym more and more, and I want to fight these guys, and rather than taking my time traveling, enjoying myself. I'm good enough now where I can beat anybody, and I don't need all that time off to improve. So I figured I'd just let myself better myself outside the cage, you know, and take my time before I came back, and I'd come back that much better. Now I know I'm good enough to beat anybody.
In those days, someone like you, I feel like, could take their time. These days, because there are so many shows, so many fighters on the roster, your career is pushed a little quicker. I mean, witness the fact you have Paige Van Zandt, who's 4-1, fighting on Fox main card, just signed a deal with Reebok. I mean, you have a lot of people like this who may be getting pushed a little too soon. What do you think of young Paige Van Zandt and the push that she's getting? She's on the poster with you. Not as big as you, but she's right there.
One fight in the UFC, right?
Yeah.
I was just watching the commercial here in New York. We were having dinner last night and popped up on the screen. She's got almost just as much hype as me and Machida. They didn't even mention Jacare Newell.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. But at the same time, yeah, one fight in the UFC. I mean, everyone's going to progress at their own pace. I mean, I'm sure she could potentially slow things down if she really wanted. She's young. How old is she?
20.
She's 20 years old, yeah. In the women's division, you're one fight away from a title fight.
Yeah.
No matter where you are. It's kind of like, it's rough to open up these new divisions, but when there's really no competition, you know, even in the men's 125-pound division, open up the flyweight division, it's rough because you have no competition for the champion, and you're always one fight, two fights away from the title. Whereas, you know, in these upper weight classes, there's competition everywhere. So,
does it bother you she gets this airtime, that she's on the main card? You worked your way up. Does that bother you at all?
No, it doesn't bother me. I understand the business. Sex sells, and two pretty girls that get their face out there, whatever. It's going to open up a different audience for me too. You know, they're going to watch them, then watch me. So I don't hate on many people.
Many people.
Some people deserve a little hate. Hey.
She just signed with Reebok. You just signed a longer-term deal with Adidas. I see you repping them here. How does this work? Because we know that the Reebok deal goes into effect July 1st. You can't wear Adidas in the cage, right? Or can you? I mean, Adidas does own Reebok, right?
True.
Can you wear Adidas come July?
To my knowledge, no. I'm not wearing Adidas in the cage. I'm wearing Adidas. I'm an Adidas athlete outside and everywhere else. Adidas is my brand. Reebok is the UFC's brand, and I'll adhere to whatever I need to wear, you know, in their content in the fights. I haven't been approached by Reebok. They haven't talked to me, and no one else has. So, from my understanding, is you're getting paid upon your ranking. So, you know, I'm going to get paid upon my ranking. So
these crazy rankings we were talking about now really come into play, right? In July.
Well, it doesn't really matter after I beat Machida and I get my title shot. And then I get that championship dollar.
Have you been told this? That if you beat him, you get a title shot?
Yeah, we've talked about it, and there's, you know, I don't really see much else out there.
It's on the table.
It's definitely on the table, no doubt.
Are you hoping Vitor beats Chris so that you can get that rematch, or do you want to fight Chris?
I wish nothing good for Vitor. He doesn't deserve it.
He doesn't deserve it. Do you want to see him out of the sport?
If he does, I'd like to beat him out of the sport.
Yeah.
If he does win, I'd love it. Of course, there's nothing I want more than to shut that guy's face. But I think Chris is the better fighter. I think he's the champ, and I think he'll win.
So in your dealings with Dana White, did he say if you beat Lyoto Machida, you're the next guy?
It was talked about, and it's looking good.
Do you kind of wish the Reebok deal wasn't in place so that you could wear them in the cage? Adidas?
You just try to get people in trouble, don't you?
No, I just want to know, because you just signed a deal. If I signed a deal with Adidas, I want to rep them on every platform possible, right?
I love Adidas. Adidas is my favorite brand of any out there.
Even growing up?
Growing up, yeah, of course. I mean, we all listened to Rub DMC. I was wearing my shell toes, wanted to put my jumpsuit on and get around. thought I was the cool guy. But Adidas has always been a brand I've liked more than anything else, and I couldn't be happier. It's like a dream come true to be repping Adidas, and so I'm looking forward to working with them outside the cage and doing all the marketing, and got a lot of stuff planned, and we're getting more and more ideas, and things are a lot of good things to come. We got a whole new combat sports line coming out, a lot of cool stuff. I've seen all the mock-ups, and there's a lot of good stuff coming from Adidas Combat Sports line.
I know
they're working with us too with their gear and everything too, bouncing off me and Robbie, and taking our knowledge and trying to better their product too on that level too. So everything's improving, everything's growing, and I'm happy to be part of it.
A lot of big changes in our sport this year. Guys signing blue chip sponsors, the Reebok deal, the drug testing. That's my alarm. It's not someone calling me.
I thought we were on airplane mode over here.
Well, the alarm fights through it. I want to know, do you feel, and fighters talk to me about this all the time, do you feel like it's time that the fighters have someone, I don't want to say the U word, the union word, but like when there's a drug testing thing on paper or the Reebok thing, you'd have someone kind of representing you guys and making sure that, okay, this is what is in the best interest of the fighters. Have you ever thought about something like that?
Can't not think about it. It definitely crosses your mind, and a lot of people think about it, but I'm not upset with my situation. I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I'm doing my thing outside the cage too. So I think people focus too much on inside the cage stuff, where branding, there's so much to do outside. And if you can take advantage of that, and if your companies can see that, you just have the right people selling you on that level. So branching out, doing what you can, reality TV, whatever else. I mean, building your brand in other ways. So think outside the box. Don't always think inside the box, but I'm here to get paid, and you keep winning, and there's nothing else that's going to happen. You're going to get taken care of. So it's just like boxing. I mean, if you're winning, the lower level boxing guys don't get paid.
Sure.
The champions get paid, and I'm not here to be a lower level guy. I'm here to be the champion. I'm not here to be second best, and so I'm here to get paid, and I will get paid.
How was Valentine's Day?
It was lonely.
It was lonely. Really?
Sure. I just kicked it. We had some friends, and I just took it mellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to WrestleMania?
Wasn't that lonely.
Are you going to WrestleMania? It's in your neck of the woods.
No.
You're not.
No.
DC's going. He's very excited.
DC is going, yeah.
He's turned into a media superstar. Maybe you're next.
Once I understood, what was going on with that.
With what? With wrestling?
Yeah. It's like, it's just, I was a fan.
Yeah. Oh, once you understood that it was fake.
Yeah.
You jumped off that train.
But actually, like, I really found the MMA, and that's when I transferred over as a young kid.
Okay.
I was like, okay, wait, this is the real stuff. This is the cool stuff. That matters. So I jumped over. I was a Triple H guy. I was
wow.
I'm not gonna lie.
Strike me as a Triple H guy.
I came out there with
the water.
With the sign, I came.
You had a.
I had a sign. I literally had a sign. I drew up a sign one time.
Okay, you went to a show with
HP Pavilion.
Okay.
I was a little grom, a young one, and I held up my sign.
What was your sign?
I drew the suck it. Yeah.
Wow. You were a DX guy.
DX, yeah, straight up.
DX guys were always.
I mean, that was kind of new generation. I was definitely Hogan and. Randy Savage and all the boys back then too.
Oh wow! So you know your stuff.
Ultimate Warrior was my number one back then.
See, now that you say that, I know exactly what kind of a kid you were. There were the Hogan kids and the Warrior kids. The Warrior kids.
I was the Warrior.
Were annoying. I hated the Warrior kids.
I was the Warrior.
Typical that you would be a Warrior.
I like Hogan, but Warrior was I was a wild child.
I was a Bret Hart guy.
Bret Hart was pretty good.
Pink and black.
He's not bad.
But these days you don't watch. You won't go to WrestleMania with DC.
Yeah, it just lost its flair for me.
CM Punk though. How about that?
CM
now you're on the same level.
CM Punk, here we go.
Middleweight division.
I know, right? Scary.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Well, a very exciting time for you. We appreciate the time here today. I know you're very busy. Lyoto Machida fight, a huge fight for you coming up. Some might say I helped you get the Bisping fight and the Machida fight. We don't need to go into that. You know the real story. But we've come a long way. Yes.
Didn't we call that out on Fox?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Check out the last one.
Yeah.
Check out the first interview. Check out the last one.
Exactly.
And a lot of history right here.
A lot of
history.
UFC on Fox 15. Tickets go on sale Friday. So if you're watching this on Friday, February 20th, I believe Friday is February 20th, tickets go on sale on that particular day. It's coming up in around, 2 months' time at the Prudential Center here in Newark, New Jersey. A huge card. You've got Yoel Romero going up against Jacare Souza and Paige Van Zandt against Felice Herrig. Also added very recently to the card, Max Holloway. That's a good fight, right? Max Holloway versus Cub Swanson. So that is live and free on Fox in around 2 months' time. Luke, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Best of luck to you.
As always.
Good luck in the fight and good luck finding love, because I'm worried about this right now. It seems like you're all over the place.
Trying to find this girl, track her down.
Which one? One in particular?
Yeah.
Can I help?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Weidman has a close relationship with her right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to pull her away.
What's her name? Tell the world. Let's go. Now's your time. You can't just bring out something like that and not say her name.
It's pretty obvious. I think you can put 2 and 2 together.
Chris Weidman? I don't know what you're talking about. His wife?
The belt.
Oh, God. That one went right over my head.
Come on, buddy.
Okay, there we go. On that note, Luke Rockhold coming up. Thank you so much for watching the interview right here on MMAfighting.com. Best of luck to Luke. We appreciate the time.
I'd like to see a better tan in Jersey, all right?
Okay,
Please,
deal.
come on.
On it.